distinguished guests, it's truly a privilege to speak here tonight. I was awarded the scholarship 20 years ago, and for me it's been quite life-changing. I went to work at Cleveland, and although the winter was a big shock, the value of the fellowship was twofold. Practically, I was able to learn some very specialist skills that were not available here in Australia at the time. I learned how to use an electron microscope, and I learned how to control a beam of ions to slice a tiny material that had been exposed to great pressures. This is akin to a surgeon learning how to perform microsurgery, but instead of looking down a normal microscope, I used electrons, and instead of using a scalpel, I used a beam of ions. This technique formed the basis of my career, essentially, including my discovery recently of a new harder-than-diamond diamond. It's a very small, harder-than-harder diamond, but one must start somewhere. The other benefits of the fellowship have been the enduring connections that I've forged with my colleagues in the US. I typically go to the US to run experiments a few times a year with my colleagues at US national labs like Argonne National Laboratory and Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee. My students have been on exchange to labs in the US like Harvard and at the Carnegie Institute of Science. My first research grant was with a US-based colleague. And I've worked with US-based companies, including one to develop a new measurement technique, which is now being commercialized. Science is truly an international activity. I have no doubt that, in part, my career success is due to the enduring connections that I forged with the US. So it is a great privilege and honour to be part of tonight's event and to have the opportunity to say thank you.